looks and smells like it as well. It kind of has that terpene profile to where
It's big, right?
yeah. It's zippy. It's zippy.
It's funny because some people love it. Like we have a couple of like NBA players and athletes that love it. And I don't know if it's because they're so accustomed to that like intensity of sport and practice or their competitive nature. I'm not exactly sure why, but they love the lava flower versus I love it, but I very much need to use it at the right time.
I'm in the same.
The suppression of the use of marijuana and of the forces lurking behind it are the most important jobs this department is now engaged in. In 1930, the records on marijuana in the Washington office of the Narcotics Division scarcely filled a small folder like this. Today, they fill cabinets.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Coloradians and everyone that's smart enough to listen from the outside.
It's one of the most amazing plants we've ever discovered.
The pot party, the trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 2, season 3 of Stoned Appetit. With your hosts, as always, it's me, Kip. To my left, CB. How are you, CB?
I'm doing wonderful. I love the fact that we're like on season 3, episode 2.
Dude, somebody was talking about the episodes the other day, and I feel like this is actually number like 162 or something like that. I'm just thinking roughly. And so we have a lot of them in there, but this is going to be our finest season yet. So
Yes.
It's going to be a great time. And we're going to start off tonight's episode like we did. We kind of debriefed y'all in the last episode. Just 10 to 15 quick minutes about things going on around Denver, restaurants opening up, things that are popping off this weekend, concerts are going on. But before we do all of that and before we introduce our guest for the evening, I want to give a quick shout out to our 2 sponsors. We're all cannabis heavy over here, and we couldn't be more stoned and excited about it. First off, we want to give a shout out to our friends over at Cali's Cannabis. As y'all know, we're recording this on Wax Wednesday, but tomorrow's Vape Thursday, which I believe you get 15% off for anybody that shops at any of their 3 locations across the city. They have a great rewards program. They have a fantastic deals of the day. Definitely worthy of your, I guess, praise, as well as go give them some of your business. You won't be disappointed. They've got something for everybody. And our second shout out is to our other sponsor, and that is our sponsor, Seed and Smith Cannabis. They saw how great we were working in the cannabis industry, and they just wanted to get on board. We know those guys real well, and we love their products. I've been smoking the Dart Pen for a couple of years now whenever we can find it. And the great thing about that is that they have a new location opening up, so everyone is able to enjoy it, especially now those in the northern burbs. They're opening up their location. The grand opening is this Saturday. So when we start talking about fun things to do this weekend, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention their grand opening party this Saturday. But technically the doors are already open. It's at 1413 Halleck Way, I believe is how you say it. Halleck. That's their location. Their other main shop is out there in Commerce City on the Green Mile at like 51st and Oakland. So if you're looking for it, but you can actually find their products and services You can find their cannabis all over the place.
What services are they in now?
Yeah, right. But yeah, that just kind of rolled off the tongue from the day job, the products and services. But they have great product as well, and they have the new location that's opening up in Louisville. So we're fucking fired up to be partnered up with those guys and to be spending a little bit more time in the northern burbs. We're going to test it out. So that's going to be pretty exciting times. But shout out to our 2 sponsors. We love y'all. We love your weed. All right, Chris, you ready for this?
Let's get it rolling.
All right, so we have guest Nishant Reddy, founder of the cannabis company A Golden State, joining us on the second part of this episode. He's joined us in season 2 just to kind of talk about cannabis. And tonight we talked about California and Colorado bud in comparison to one another, as well as legislation and how they've been getting the bailout money from the government and how they're combating the black market with innovation and stepping up their game. So it's a great episode for those, or a great listen, or a great interview for those that fancy themselves a cannabis connoisseur.
So what's the consensus on Colorado versus California weed?
So I don't think there is a consensus. I think it's as biased as a Bronco versus a Raider fan. But at the same point, I feel like I spoke with, and I mentioned this in the interview, but there are people that are from Colorado that have spent time in California, and they say that they do a lot of things the right way. But at the same time, Colorado seems to be pushing the envelope even more and more by it goes. But it's a great part, about the dueling states and us not necessarily being in the same industries, is that there's a different kind of brands, and you get to learn a lot more about somebody else's. It's a whole new market and industry out there,
Right.
from like their lawsuits to everything underneath the sun, their marketing ploys.
I'm kind of curious. Like, I wonder what the cartridges and like the vaping is in California compared to Colorado. Like, is California more flower? But anyways, that's for another time.
Yeah, and I think that's something Nishant spoke on as well, was seeing the trends, and that the vape trend and the edible trend is kind of on the uptick, whereas flowers are more a traditional or purist form of some getting high. But at the same time, as more and more people get into the industry, it seems where, who gives a shit how they're getting high, but as long as, they find that it's medicinal or enjoyable in some way, we're glad to have them on the board.
True.
Yeah. All right, so before we get into that interview, though, we're going to kind of give a quick rundown. This is what we'll do on our Thursday episodes of things that are going on this weekend, as well as maybe new openings or restaurants and things of that nature that are popping up. So, Chris, I hope that you've brought a couple ideas of events or things that would tickle someone's fancy to the table tonight, similar to that of how we did the High Five on Tuesday.
Yeah. I think I'll head in one direction. I'll go with arts and stuff going on this weekend. But before that, should we mention about like kind of some places we hit last week, especially a new place that is opening or is open?
Yeah. Which one? So we've done a couple of them. So dive into just give us a little brief overview, Chris.
I'm going to say Redeemer.
Okay.
Because Redeemer Pizza,
there you go.
it's from the group that brings you Dio Mio Pasta. So if you haven't been to Dio Mio Pasta, also go there. I also visited that last week. But Redeemer Pizza is a solid little spot. Is it where Meadowlark Kitchen used to be? Or something like that. That's
exactly where it was. So it's right there at Larimer and 28th, I believe is what it is, right across from the Denver Central Market. And over the course of the last couple of weeks, they've had their back of house, or the pizza window, so to speak, open, where you can access it through the alleyway. And fun fact for those that hang out in the Meadowlark backyard and basement, you can access it that way. But yeah, it took over the kitchen that obviously closed over the course of COVID. And they're bringing the hammer, Chris.
And it's fucking awesome that there's like a little late night pizza window you can go to over there. Because not all the time can you find food really late at night if you're hitting the bars and stuff like that. But that's a fucking great idea. And today I found out they're selling their Dilly Ranch through the window as well. And let us tell you, we had some of the Dilly Ranch with our pizza last week.
I was a hot chili pepper jelly guy myself personally, but the Dilly Ranch does play.
Yeah, it's all good. All the food we had at Redeemer was fucking great.
Yeah, I call it a good party pizza. Like, it would hold up. You order 2 for the crowd. Everyone can come over. You can watch it for football. It's a good party pizza. I respect that. That's a good call.
Yeah.
And I guess we should also mention, though, as Redeemer does have the late night window going open, that is money, we're starting to see a little bit more of a late night menu come about. Cart driver's going to do fish out of a can and piata bread or their sourdough, and they're going to do just like limited small, like maybe just the Daisy cheese pizza, and they've just announced that this week, going from 10 to 12. So there will be a couple options for those in Rhino, but you still have La Diabla kind of on the other side of the I guess it's Broadway. La Diabla is doing tacos out of a window late night, so that's also fire. Definitely recommend that. I like where your head's at. So we did Redeemer, but we also did another bar that's popped up just inside of Rhino, and that is the Red Barber, Chris. The rooftop that everybody was kind of sucking dick over all week. You saw it on Instagram. We saw everybody's kind of been popping up over there. They've been open for about 2 weeks. And, y'all, let me tell you what. This view is immaculate. It's the perfect stop for it's the perfect place for the first stop on your evening if you're going to keep continuing on throughout. It's a great little happy hour, catch the sunset before going and maybe hitting a reservation at like Hop Alley or whatever you wanted to do, or Redeemer Pizza.
And the balcony's massive.
It is massive. You could host 500 fucking people up there.
Yeah, they have a couple games, like a little grass area. The frosé was delicious, by the way. I'm not always the biggest frosé guy, but theirs was pretty damn spot on.
I am usually a frosé guy, and I also thought it was delicious. So it's up there. For those that enjoy Linger, I'd say Linger has been put on notice from the frozen machine that they have on their rooftop. This bar scene up there is pretty gnarly, and it's, ballpark, same area, same cost. So.
Yeah, you can definitely walk to other spots, but that would be a cool jumping off kind of point.
Yeah, so that's our first part of the night. A little tip as to what we've been hitting on this week. And then the next part is going to be what we think events are popping before we get going. So it is Thursday for those that are listening. Tonight is my first pick of the night, Chris. It's Top Taco Night. For those that don't know, you may still be able to get tickets on the secondary market, but Top Taco is a taco fest with 20-plus competitors where they bring in exotic, crazy, fun, all sorts of different taco variations from different restaurants around town to let them showcase and hang out in front of a crowd of hundreds, if not 1,000 fucking people. I don't think it's 1,000, but it's a lot of people. It's at Stanley Marketplace, and it's put on by the Dining Out magazine group, Suskin and Shalisa, same people that did the Wedding Party and Rare Steak Fest, which I think everyone remembers how much fun I had at those. So that is my first pick, Chris, for the weekend. I wanted to make it a high alert, as it is, in fact, Thursday. I'm going to let you lead off with your first pick for fun shit to do this weekend.
Okay, well, I was going to start on a different note, but since you mentioned tacos,
yeah, do it.
There's also a Boulder Taco Fest this weekend.
Tell me a little bit more about it.
Apparently, it's like, tacos, breweries, tequilas, live music.
Is this on Pearl?
This is going to be at the Boulder's Foothills Park.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
which I'm not sure. I think it's like a smaller festival, like, kids of all ages, but then you buy a wristband for food and drinks.
Okay.
So if you're in the
Boulder
Boulder
area.
area.
Fogel's Paradise.
Yeah, it's from 11 to 7. So it's kind of like a midday thing if you want to go check something out.
Okay, that's not a bad one. We're going to start off with a little food sesh, and, we're going to have to shift gears now because I'm out of the food scene, but I'll let you go first with your next pick. We'll do it like snake draft.
All right, so I've been looking, and there's lots of kind of markets and art fairs and things like that going on around the city. Apparently, there's this thing called the Renegade Craft Fair, which is opening Saturday and Sunday it's going to be right next to Denver Central Market.
Okay.
And it's just going to be artists, makers, locally and nationally, and businesses doing little pop-up shops.
I like that. All right, Chris, you're getting deep into the catalog there, and while I'm just playing the hits, I like that we have that deep dive right there. That's a really smart call.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of shit going on with
on.
markets this weekend just because we're getting to the kind of end of that, outdoor summer market season here pretty soon.
Yeah, and, I feel like we've seen peaches in almost every restaurant's dishes and tomatoes, and I'm not mad about either of them. So shout out personally Caroline Glover and Annette. They seem to be doing wondrous things with fruits over there this summer. But also, that's a great call, Chris. I like where your head's at. I would say that I want to do a fuck, marry, kill of farmers markets in Colorado soon, like a Cherry Creek, Boulder, City Park, something fun like that. But maybe we'll do that as a Tuesday high five.
Gotcha.
All right. So my second one, this one may be also a little bit more of a bitch to get tickets to as well, but that's the Underground Music Showcase. For those that don't know, the UMS or the UMS is a music series that highlights medium and smaller sized bands. Notable people, some are like Neil Francis, who just opened up for Black Pumas. They're on the docket for sometime this summer, but it gets geared up and ready to rock this weekend. It's going to be across Broadway. There's bars all over the city that are the Strip that are kind of participating, that have concerts popping up. But if you go over to their website, I thoroughly recommend it. It's undergroundmusicshowcase.com. You'll see that the schedule's all there. It shows you kind of who's headlining, who's playing at what times. If you can grab tickets, definitely recommend doing so. And then obviously, if you can't, maybe plan ahead because they do these things fairly often. So it's not a one-off. It's one of many weekends that they party. So keep that under, I guess, on wraps, or keep checking it out. Yeah, that's the only thing I got there. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah.